Hello people YouTube, so once again the Malik Aaron, I know it's been late, but I just got done watching Transformers last night. A friend of mine, shout out to Liam. There's a lot after watching that two and a half hours of what I saw, you know what? Let's just review GTA 5 first, and then get to Transformers 5. So GTA 5, you all know what this is. It's well, there are other games in the series, but this is the 5th main game in the GTA franchise. If you know the whole franchise history, it started as a car game, then GTA 3 became an open world game, changed the whole industry. They had a couple of spin-offs, then had GTA 4, and then now we have GTA 5. And this game made $1 billion in 3 days. It sold over 80 million copies. One of the best-selling games of all time. Mainly due to the hype that surrounded it. So I know Rockstar Games was pretty happy about that. So, in this game, unlike the others, instead of playing as one protagonist, you get to play as 3 protagonists. You get to play as Franklin, as it describes a young street hustler. Trevor, a deranged psychopath. You should all know who that is. And I forgot the other dude's name. I'm terrible. Michael, yeah, that's his name. Michael, he's a retired bank robber. At first, you play as Franklin, and then you kind of run into Michael, and then I guess Michael lets Franklin be like a little protege, and then they meet Trevor. Apparently, in the beginning of the game, real beginning, there's a flashback sequence where Michael and Trevor were robbing a bank. And then, after all, a bunch of chases and hijinks, he kind of fakes his own death. You know, to live a normal life with his wife and his kids. And as you can tell by the game, their relationship was completely dysfunctional. And that's just part of the story. This is a long game. The main part will take at least a good full day or 2. I only really completed the main story, and of some of the side missions. I didn't complete the whole game because it would take forever to do. So yeah, that's basically the story mode. Now the characters, all pretty likable. I mean, Michael is the least interesting one, but he does have a pretty nice house and some really nice cars you can ride in. Franklin's pretty good. You have to deal with this whole thing with what's going on with him and his family and whatnot. I thought that was pretty interesting. And the last and certainly not least, we have Trevor, the psychopath of the group. And he is just probably one of the best characters GTA has ever came up with. Because he's crazy, and what he does basically is what a normal GTA player would do. Because most GTA players, I do this too, you just go around, cause mayhem, kill people. That's basically what you do, and Trevor is basically that. So I did like what they did there. The graphics are amazing. They were amazing on the Xbox 360, but on the Xbox One they look even better. Now originally I had the Xbox 360 version, but then I found out I had to get a hard drive, and that annoyed me, so I decided to just wait a whole year for GTA to come out on the Xbox One. And then I got it then, and I played the whole thing. And there's a whole lot of stuff you can do to this game. This game is huge, massive. It's basically an open world simulation of California. You can like kill people. You can play golf. You can play tennis. You can watch TV. You can like do a triathlon. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. That was only a few things. And you can ride a whole bunch of vehicles in this game, like cars, motorcycles, planes, helicopters, submarines, bikes, all that good stuff. But the helicopters are just terrible to control. I'm sorry. They're just not fun to control. It's very difficult to do so. Honestly, I never liked helicopters in any game because they're always notoriously difficult to control. This is a world where a whole bunch of random things could happen. Like someone could get shot, or someone could be in a car chase. It's not even you. That happened a couple times. And there's a whole bunch of weapons, as you would expect. A whole bunch of guns. Well, not bombs. Well, sticky bombs, as people would call them. There's that. You can hijack cars, planes, all that good stuff. Now, I didn't say this, but one of the most hilarious things in this game was when I first played it. I was in the first part of the game where you're like as a bank robber and you have hostages. I didn't know what to do, so my character was aiming at one of the hostages, and I was just like, well, I think the game doesn't weigh in witnesses, and I shoot him, and this mission failed. I was like, I failed on the first thing I did. This is gonna be a piece of cake. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And then now when you complete the game, you get like a ton of money. You get like millions of dollars. And like one of the ways, and I've died a lot, mainly for fun. One of the ways I died was just so brutal. Like my character was riding a motorcycle, and then he, like I think it was like a little platform. He drove off it, and then he just hit the wall, and it just. I imagine like this is his body, and the body just crunched like that. It was so vicious. It was pretty awesome. Am I missing anything? Now, I don't play GTA Online, for those of you wondering, so yeah, I'm not really big into all online stuff, to be honest with you. There's a whole lot else in this game I haven't even mentioned. I mean, this game is probably my favorite game of all time. It has great graphics, great gameplay, very few flaws. It's just a great game, and I can see why it made so much money. So I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I can't quite give it a 10 because those terrible helicopter controls, but it's still way up there in terms of games. So that's GTA 5. Now let's talk about Transformers 5. What can I say? I'll tell you the plot. It starts out like in King Arthur, as you all saw in trailers. It starts out in King Arthur, a whole bunch of explosions and fighting. Then you meet Merlin, played by Stanley Tucci. Yes, he plays Merlin. I was shocked too. And then I was like, okay, this doesn't look too bad. Then the dialogue started happening, and I was just like, oh no, I can't escape now. I'm just got to endure this. And then he tells like a failed joke, like he's all drunk, and then like an old Transformer decides to give him like a staff, and he uses it to conquer or help out King Arthur and his people, I guess. Then we go to present day, and any Transformer is basically labeled as an enemy by the government and military. They also have their own force, like the Transformers force, like made to fight off Transformers or anyone working with Transformers. And I thought that was, whatever. Then you meet this girl. And then there's like, before we meet the girl, you have to be a bunch of little kids, bunch of annoying kids. And they're like in a stadium, they want to see something cool, and then they see a girl who's like a rebel, kind of like Jenna or so, in a way, but way more obnoxious. Then they run away from robots, and then Marky Mark, comes to the rescue and helps them out. But the girl's like, I have no family. From what I've read on Wikipedia, apparently she was a survivor of the Battle of Chicago, if you remember that from Transformers 3. So she stays with Marky Mark, and Marky Mark has a bunch of Autobots with him. He has Bumblebee, a Hound, he has the John Goodman robot, the Ken Watanabe robot, some Dinobots, some little Dinobots, just probably to sell them toys. And a Hound, the green one. He has all of them. They're all with him, just being cool. And now you're wondering, where's Mark Wahlberg's daughter from the last movie? Well, she's at college, and he can't contact her because he's become a fugitive. And also, he probably doesn't want to endanger her. And then they find out that, that Anthony Hopkins and his little servant, butler robot, I think Cogsworth? So it starts with a C. He has to take him, and because Mark Wahlberg, he found a thing that connects to his arm, mainly because he's a knight, and then he meets this smart girl, the smart British girl, and then they just go on their big old adventure with a bunch of explosions and special effects and CGI and just horrible dialogue and just horrible jokes and just a bunch of bleh. What do I think of this movie? I honestly don't know what to think. I'm just gonna say Optimus Prime. This whole movie, the whole advertising campaign was about him turning evil. He's barely in the movie at all. That was such a ripoff, and this may be spoiler alerts for Transformers 5, but do you really care? I didn't think so. He goes bad, but then he goes good in such record time that it's a complete ripoff to the advertising campaign. Like, the advertising campaign lies to you. You think he's gonna do something cool, but he doesn't. He goes from bad to good, and then the Knights, the old-timey Transformers, originally they want to beat him up and kill him, but then after Mark Wahlberg, the thing of his arm turns to a sword, they're just like, okay, we're all cool now. I'm just like, what? That doesn't make any sense. How can you just go from one thing to another in like a split second? It doesn't make sense. It's all about the other characters. Let's talk about the humans, because that's what these movies are about. Humans. Not Transformers, humans. Mark Wahlberg's basically a superhero. He does all this superhero stuff, and he's just a normal dude. And I'm just like, how? Why? Whatever. He just goes around shooting up Transformers, and I'm just, it's beyond belief. The girl he has, she was okay, but the thing to do with her is so ridiculously stupid. Apparently she, with Merlin's staff, apparently she's a descendant of Marilyn. I am not even exaggerating. And she's the only one that can hold the staff, and I'm just like, this movie has I think the movie itself lost a couple brain cells. The girl you saw from that horrible feminist girl power trailer, she doesn't do anything. She's useless. She's just there just because girls need a role model in Transformers movies. She does nothing to the movie. She doesn't contribute at all. Her little robot, that little blue ugly robot, what's his name? I forgot his name. Spix. I don't even know. He does more than her, and that's horrible. And also, Mark Wahlberg's friend, he hires, to keep an eye on the Autobots. He's okay. He has some decent lines, but he's basically T.J. Miller in Transformers: Age of Extinction. Remember that? That's basically him. Anthony Hopkins, surprisingly, he did a lot more than I thought. I thought he was just going to be a big old exposition machine. But he actually does some stuff with the plot. And, like, another spoiler, but who cares at this point? His cane turns into a gun. A Transformers gun. And I was lost for words. I was just like, this movie has no rules. Forget reality. Forget what's going on. It's just, I don't know. Majority of the Transformers in this movie are useless. A good chunk of the Autobots are useless. They don't really do much. Bumblebee has some decent moments, but it was clearly set up for his movie coming out next year. Optimus Prime, I already said. Megatron barely does anything. His crew, you will not believe how they do his crew. Like, they introduce him. Remember how Suicide Squad, they had like a bit of like a stats or like a big old name and have a little clip of what they do? That's what they did here. And I saw right through it. I was like, wow, you're ripping off Suicide Squad. And that movie wasn't even all that good. I mean, that's just horrible. Who else am I missing? There's like the Quantanima, I forgot her name. Like the main, the creator. She barely did anything. She didn't put up a fight. She was like down like 2 punches. And then there's like a post-credit scene where you see her like turn into a human. And they still don't explain how that's even possible, but who cares? Then there's the action. Now, visuals look really good, as expected. It is Transformers. And the music's pretty good, as always. The whole scope of it's pretty good. But the action is nothing but explosions, 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 etc. That's all it is. A bunch of explosions everywhere. A bunch of explosions, CGI, and just a whole bunch of that. And so much you don't even know what's happening. And the ending. Like, everyone's like, hey, we're all good now. Everything's gone back to normal. But they forgot to realize that the moon was destroyed. Which means a whole bunch of people are going to die because of tidal waves. And then now you have this big old planet, the Cybertron planet, pretty much connected to Earth. I'm like, what are you going to do about that? And I might just watch the 6th one just to see what they do. Because it's just ridiculous. And also, one of the other good things, there are 2 characters in mind that are really good in my opinion. There's Josh Duhamel. I thought he was pretty good as his character, considering I remember him from the first 3 Transformers movies. And he was good in those too. I liked him in this. He wasn't like completely on the bad side. He was kind of like middle of the range. Like, I worked with these guys before, but I'm still doing my job. I did like that. And Anthony Hopkins, Butler Robot. I thought he was probably the best character in the movie, the most interesting character, because they actually gave him a personality unlike the other robots. Yeah, he had some really good lines, and he was like a lot more vicious than he looked. Even though he basically was a C-3PO ripoff, he was still pretty good. The Optimus Prime gives one of his signature speeches. Can't forget about that. And I guess it was okay. And then the movie ended abruptly. I was just like, good, that's 2.5 hours of my life I'm not really going to get back. So yeah, I really don't know what to say about Transformers last night. It has some good stuff, has some really bad stuff. Then it has some stuff that makes no sense whatsoever. And I honestly don't know what rating I should give it. Part of me, considering how insane it really is, I might give it a 10, but another part of me thought it was complete hot garbage, so I might give it a 0. This may anger some people. People will think it should be a lot lower, but I honestly gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Yeah, 5 out of 10. It's very middle of the range. I know that's gonna anger some people, but that's just my opinion on the whole thing. And plus, a lot of the stuff that happened in it just made my brain completely explode and whatnot. So yeah, 5 out of 10. I wouldn't recommend it to really anybody who wants a good movie. If you want to turn off your brain and just enjoy for what it is, then go right ahead. But for others, I would honestly just kind of stay away from it. I've heard box office wise, it's not doing really good in the States, and I'm so glad because people are finally coming to their senses in the States. But now overseas, they're still helping out these movies. They helped out Pirates, they helped out The Mummy, now they're helping out this. And at least as the US, us moviegoers in the US, we have higher standards. They clearly don't. So yeah, I'm glad about that. So now let's get. I forgot to say, like, the number 5 is going to be quite the theme in this video. Well, I reviewed GTA 5, then I did Transformers 5, then I gave Transformers 5 a 5 out of 10. Now we're going to have a fatal 5-way match. It's going to be between CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Alberto Del Rio, and Rey Mysterio. So we're going to get to that right now. Alright, we're ready. What the heck? What happened? Someone attacked us before the match. It's supposed to take place. Who attacked you? Me, Brock Lesnar. Oh, Brock, welcome to the show. Explain to the viewers who you are. My name's Brock Lesnar. I'm UFC champion, WWE champion, currently the Universal champion, Royal Rumble winner, King of the Ring winner, main event a couple WrestleManias. Doing good. Now I'm going to take everybody again to Suplex City. And what is that? Just a bunch of German suplexes where they all land on their heads. Let's do it. No. Oh! Wait, don't do it to Daniel. He has a broken neck. That's too bad. Deserves it. Oh, jeez. Come on, why you gotta do the Ray? He's little. Makes it easier. Oh. Now, the one only John Cena. Oh. And now this goof. Alberto Del Rio. I think he is. Oh. Now. Excuse me for a moment. I'm going to do something insane for all these guys. Just cut the camera for a bit. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Brock. This is insane. You can't do this. So I can. About to give them all F5 right through the ring. Excuse me. Got something in my throat. Got the F5 all in the ring. Please don't, Brock. I mean, this is impossible. For action figures, none is impossible. Yeah! Oh! And they're all down. I think you may have killed Punk. Make sure to subscribe. Like this video. Leave a comment. We'll see you next time. And... no. Brock, don't you dare. Oh! Yep. I lifted a whole ring with my bare hands. Now I'm gonna push it. No. Brock, no. Oh no. Oh my gosh. I think he killed them all. Except this boy. Oh my goodness. Stop it. You're gonna break the chair on his back. Kill him. And now, the final image of brutality. No. Oh my goodness. And that is all, folks.